My name is Mark Otabor, and you are watching The Big Issue. The overwhelming upsurge in the frequency of crime in Nigeria has raised a huge question as to what has gone wrong with our value system. Now, there seems to be this palpable fear among the populace as security of lives and properties can no longer be guaranteed. Unfortunately, crime has impacted negatively on the economic, social, and political life of the nation over time. Now, in a bid to address this ugly development, some people have blamed crime on poverty and unemployment, which they say has left some Nigerians vulnerable to crime. In other words, internet fraud, armed robbery, kidnapping, political thuggery, militancy, and other social vices are products of unemployment and suffering. On the other hand, many also believe that crime cannot be excused or blamed on poverty or joblessness. Criminal tendencies transcends poverty. It's a habitual vice that manifests irrespective of one's socio-economic status. Now, Francis Chilika is a social commentator and the executive director, corporate communications, Amadia Pandora Limited. Now, he's here to argue that poverty is the mother of crime. Let's welcome him to the podium. Come on. Come, you can come over. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. All right, and quickly on the other side, Dixon Osaje is a seasoned global security expert and analyst. Now, he says nothing really justifies being a criminal and inflicting pain on innocent lives. Should we blame poverty on the high rate of crime? Let the show begin. Come on, Osaje, let's have you quickly. Good to have you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, for those at home, it's about time for us to put this to rest finally, as these amazing guests will be ready to roll with this fantastic subject matter. So, your popcorn, your drink could be useful at this time. Quickly, let's switch gears right now to our guests. Now, good to have you.
Thank you very much.
Make your start off. How do you begin with your argument? Because now you are of the opinion that, come on, it is very possible for poverty to make crime come about. So, how do you start?
Well, the first thing we need to ask ourselves is, what is employment? And what role does employment actually play in the society and the life of an individual? If by what we understand employment to be is the fact that there are people who are available to work and that there is work available to them, then it means that in a situation where you do not have that, what options do people have? People need to survive. Bills need to be paid. Maintenance of the house need to be taken care of. Families need to be taken care of. Medical bills need to be taken care of. So when you do not have these things to do, what is left to you? And then you wake up every morning, you see people you expect ordinarily to be helpful to you. Those you have voted into power, so to say, as leaders, you see them living, above every other person, living flamboyantly. Then, it's a societal thing that you can't run away from.
All right, thank you very much. Now, Osaje, you heard his argument.
Oh, yeah.
How do you begin your argument? You are saying there is no justification for crime no matter what.
No matter what, there's no justification to crime, because if we want to blame unemployment, crime because of unemployment, that simply means that criminality has just received justification. Because we must tell ourselves the truth. He rightly said that unemployment is a state whereby you are available to work and the work is not there. But for me, when you want to classify anybody as unemployed, that person must be actively seeking for a job. Here in our country, in our climate these days, some people sit down at home, sleeping from morning to evening, and they cry that they're not unemployed. Have you left home? The truth is, in any given environment, there is a job for you to do, but we are suffering from selectivity. That is the problem we're having in this country. So for me, unemployment is never to be blamed on criminality.
I'm surprised you're saying that, and I'll tell you why. As at the report of the National Statistics Bureau in 2018, it says that unemployment rate has risen to 30%, and that about 30 million Nigerians are unemployed, and it is increasing on a daily basis.
Does that mean they should go to crime?
No, there is no employment. Let us take these issues the way they are. First of all, there is no employment out there. You and I know that.
I don't know that.
And if you say that people should wake up and go on the street and look for a job, where do they go to? Even in the civil service, we know the corruption that goes in the system when it comes to employment. So there is no job, and people must survive. So how do they survive? You elect somebody today as a counselor. I don't know if you're aware of that. Somebody you know that has no source of income for the last 2-3 years. He becomes a counselor. Give him 3 months. He's bought 2-3 cars. He's bought different houses. And you want the Nigerian who has gone to school, who is a graduate, you want him to sit at home, and you want him to roam the streets to the point that his shoes will get torn, his trousers will get torn, and you say he's looking for a job where there is no job. The government has taken a decision. It is the bad decisions and bad policies of government that has created the issue of crime we have in our climate today.
Can I ask you a question? Have you ever been unemployed?
I have been unemployed.
Before?
Yes.
Did you go into criminality?
It doesn't matter.
That matters because that's what we're talking about.
It doesn't matter.
No, that matters. That's what we're talking about. No, it matters. That's what we're talking about, you know. It matters. Because, listen.
Supports me. I have a family support system.
Okay.
There are people who don't have that. Okay. How do you want them to survive?
Let me tell you something, gentlemen. The truth is that when we go into history or we want to play our life story, you will discover that criminality is a choice. Are you with me? Because if you are well nurtured and you know the fact that when you go into crime, there are consequences, or there are consequences to such crime, I don't think you will take the vulnerability of unemployment to go and commit crime.
There are consequences in crime. Are there consequences when people loot this country?
Oh, sure, there are consequences when people loot this country.
How many of them have been punished?
I am not in a position to say that because I don't work in the EFCC. Because if people commit crime in this country, are you with me? And the administration of criminal justice have their duty to play. I am not part of the administration of criminal justice. We have the police, which is the first point of contact. We have the court and we have the prison. So if the administration of criminal justice is effective enough to ensure that people who commit crime does not go unpunished, then Nigeria will be a better place. But the situation for today is that, are we going to say because of unemployment, you put your life at risk? Hey, I have never seen where hungry kills someone. I've been in that position before. Yeah. Okay?
You've never seen hungry kill someone?
Oh, I have never seen.
Maybe you've never had somebody in your own family that is sick, bedridden, and you don't have money to take that person to the hospital. Then you will understand what poverty is all about.
Have you heard about the story of recent?
You need to experience poverty to be able to talk about poverty. Okay, you see, this is one mistake we make in this country. All of us will wear suits, we dress fine, we enter our luxury cars and all of that, but we do not think of the other person out there who is looking for 200 naira to buy simple Panadol to take. You see, it's one thing for us to stand and say there is no poverty, poverty cannot lead to crime. It is a lie. We must face the reality. The reality is that every decision taken by successful administration in Nigeria has continued to create unemployment.
All right.
In terms of trade, in terms of education, in terms of health. These are issues that must be looked into. When a government is sincere, when government takes policies that helps to develop the system, put system in place, I am telling you, criminality will run. But as long as people wake up from sleep, they are hungry. We saw what happened during the lockdown. 1,000 and 1 million boys. We saw where did they come out from? Right. They were driven out by hunger.
All right, Mr. Chilika, very quickly, Dr. Chilika, you have you have made your assertions very bold, and I can see the angle you're coming from. But let me take you up from this angle. If you say, because of the fact that there is no job, that is why some people go into, criminal activities. What about in developed countries where the policy and the economic system seems to be stable? Yet you still find youths parading guns, killing their youths themselves on the streets, parading gangs here and there. They have a secure system. They have a very good, backbone that supports them. But yet crime is still prevalent in such crimes. So how do you justify
youth exuberance cannot be thrown away.
Okay.
Youthful exuberance cannot be thrown away. There's a difference between being a criminal and being youthful exuberant. What you have in those crimes are youths who are, they want to exercise, they want to do free thinking. They don't know what you're talking about, hunger.
Free thinking at the expense of people's lives?
It's a crime all over the world. There's crime, no matter how secure the system is. But we're saying that I am looking at the crime in Nigeria today. The crime in Nigeria today is perpetuated, 1, those who don't have jobs. 2, those we put in power. 3, those who see it as a way of, let me just do it for doing sake. And I keep saying, as long as you have a system that does not punish crime, you have 2 systems in Nigeria. You have a system that looks at those who are rich. The law is different for them. You have a system where the law is different for the poor.
But it is a general consensus that nobody is above the law.
Not in Nigeria. We all know what we're talking about. So long as these systems exist, you will have crime. And you see, let me tell you, I deal with a lot of young people, and I understand these young people. And a young person will tell you, Oga, this man will elect them to the House of Rep. We know they see anything. They buy cars, they buy houses. Because we have a bad system that looks at a criminal and eulogizes him. Until we can curb that system, we need to go back to our values. We have no values in this country. We need to go back to our values. The home, the churches, the schools. We need to, once these things are sorted out, I am telling you, crime will run. And it brings us back to unemployment.
Right.
When people have nothing to do, don't forget, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. And that is what we have with the Nigerian youth today.
All right, now, Osaje, you heard him.
Oh, yeah.
An idle mind is the devil's workshop. No matter how you say it, when someone is not engaged, there's a reason to want to stray from reality and delve into crime.
You see, for me, I don't believe in that notion that an idle man is a devil workshop. I disagree with such notion.
Right.
You see, these are the notion that we pass around the globe, and people tend to take that to go and commit crime. You understand? Because when we talk about the human mind has two instinctive drive, you know, the eros and the thanatos. The eros mind is the god of love. You know, each time while the thanatos is the god of death. Each time you are thinking something negative, when you say the devil mind is the idle workshop, it is very essential for our youth, or for our people, to interrupt their thought process. Because before you carry out any crime, it must pass through a thought process, and you're going to move from one level to another. Within that period of time, you migrated to go and carry out that crime. Are you telling me that your conscience never arrested you? Are you telling me that your conscience did not put you to query? So an idle man being a devil worship, I disagree with that, because you are in charge of your thought process, you are in charge of your thinking, you are in charge of your life, and your life is in your hands. Because the truth is this, most people believe that the government fails, the state fails. If the government fails you, the state fails you, society fails you, the greatest disaster in mankind is for you to fail yourself. Failing yourself is for you to go into crime. Let me tell you something. I've been in an unemployment situation before, and I know the kind of opportunity that come my way to go into crime, but I know where I'm driving to. If I had taken the path of crime, I would not be here in the big issue. But because I follow the path of process, the path of patience, the path of perseverance, that's why I'm here today. So our youth must learn to know that if there's no job, be patient. You will not die.
Well, I like that. I like that. Be patient.
So you want to give him a hand, right?
Yes, I will. And so what I'm giving you a hand is the fact that you have not told us.
Okay.
You had a shocker. You had a family system that gave you a shocker. They held you from collapsing. A lot of these people out there that are going into crime, they have nobody to hold them.
Okay.
Can I come in? Let me finish. Before you finish, are you telling me that most of these guys are going to crime are doomed? The kidnap kingpin is not from a good family? Are you telling me Evans is not from a good family?
It doesn't.
Do you want me to name them?
You see, you are talking of high flyers. We know, listen, we know why, if a high flyer, for somebody who is high, going for high flyer crime, for me, that is no. But we're talking about the ordinary people.
That is where the graduation process comes to play. That's where graduation process comes to play.
The petty people, the young people down there, down the ladder, that has no source of livelihood. For instance, you wake up every morning, sir. You don't have money, you don't have food to eat.
Yes, it has happened.
In the morning, you don't have food to eat in the night.
And it's still happening, yeah.
You don't have food to eat in the evening.
Okay.
And then you come out, maybe you just take a stroll, and you see somebody driving a big car, eating lavishly, dashing out money and all of that. I am telling you, it's a simple thing. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. You will not even know when that will click in your head to say, go for it. But you see, once there is employment, let us assume, for Nigeria to get it right, we need nothing less than 4 million jobs every year. If we have that kind of job opportunity.
Who's going to create it for you?
I'm coming. If we have that kind of job opportunity, we have 200 million according to United Nations, not according to, because we haven't done census. Now, if you have 4 million jobs created every year, I am telling you, a lot of people will be taken off the streets. The job of government is to create enabling environment.
Can I give you a short
for jobs to come in? Is to build factories. What we have today is a system that makes people poor, the rich richer. we need to break that jinx for Nigeria to move forward.
All right, Sagi.
Oh yeah, you see, I have been in a situation whereby I work in an environment where I was privileged to become the CSO. You see, we have a very terrible notion in our crime. People believe that the crime that is being orchestrated in the street by street urchins or those vulnerable people is one of the biggest crime affecting our country. No, let me tell you the truth. The biggest crime we have in this country is white-collar crime. And that is the problem of Nigeria. The person you see today that is jobless, when you take him into the society, take him into the bank, take him into a corporate organization, he will become a very big thief. Are you with me? So it's all about character, it's all about attitude, it's all about discipline. Because when you equate the rate of crime in the working environment, which he says government needs to create 4 million jobs. If the government creates 4 million jobs, there is tendency of 4 million criminals in the working environment. Because I can attest that to you, that the rate of criminality in the working environment is highly disastrous. And those facts I'm giving you right now is that it affects even our GDP. Are you with me? So let's not look at crime as a situation whereby somebody is sitting idle at home. The city is congested. Everybody want to come to Lagos. Everybody want to go to Abuja. They are leaving the rural areas for the urban areas. Everybody want to come. Are you telling me if you're in the rural areas, you're not going to get a job? We have a lot of farm yard in the places. We have people that can convert. Oh, sure. You know.
What kind of job? It is one thing for us to stand and make inferences. We make references. We just talk. I like to talk practical.
Can I give you practical?
What kind of jobs, please, what kind of jobs do you have in the rural areas?
All right, Mr. Chideka, quickly, let's take it from another angle. Now, look, it's obvious where you're going with this, but we've heard stories of people who have come to Lagos with no support system, with nobody.
No father, no mother.
No father, no mother, but they got into some kind of menial job and they started their life and their life became... I know a man who called my show sometime on radio and said he was listening to me on radio from under the bridge. He didn't have a house, but he knew how to drive. But somehow he was able to get a driving job with a microfinance bank. But that man living in the cold, despite the harsh condition he lived in, it never occurred to him to go into crime or do anything out of place. But as he kept on believing the process, he needed to go all out. And he finally got a job with the microfinance bank as a driver. We've had people like that with different stories, and they never ventured into crime. Now, some families have done well to raise their children with good character and good upbringing, and they never deviated from it. So how do you justify others who even have everything, but yet still choose to go to crime?
Between 1999 to date is about 21 years of democracy.
Before you land, let's go on this very quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, the debate is really getting heated. Wherever you are right now, trust me, we are not done. Of course, we do have to go on a break, and when we return, the conversation continues. This is still the big issue. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Now, should we blame poverty and unemployment on the high rates of crime? Of course. Francis Chideka and Dixon Osaje are still breaking down this discussion. Now, Francis, very quickly, you were trying to make your assertions before we went on that break. Can we have it? I'm saying
that between 1999 to date, it's about 21 years of democratic rule. As a nation and as a people, can we look back and say we have gotten it right? We haven't. Because before democracy came to power, we kept fighting military rule. Everybody was, the military has to go. But today, what do we have? We have a worse system than even the military rule. We have a system that people in Nigeria today cannot hold their heads high and say, we are proudly Nigerians. We have a system where everybody is all about money. And any system that is focused on the money breeds crime. Any system where employment is not available to the ordinary citizens breeds crime. Any system where the health sector is zero breeds crime. No matter how we want to paint it, somebody says, my colleague here says, in the rural areas. And I'm asking, what jobs are available in the rural areas? What jobs?
I believe you answered that when it
started. There's no money.
Well,
Because the whole money is saturated
is farming not a job?
In few hands. When you say farming,
is it not a job?
When you say farming,
do you know the amount of money that comes out from farming?
No, I keep saying
we are being selective. That's the problem.
Government needs to create an enabling environment for people to go into farming. You cannot ask people to go into mechanized farming with empty hands.
Who is going to create that environment?
You cannot ask people to go to farming without providing the land for them.
Who is going to provide that?
It is government. It is the duty of government.
Who are the people in government?
It is government.
Who are the people in government?
No.
Are they not employed people?
How? Who are they employing?
No, are the people in government, are they not employed people? Are they not holding unemployment?
How many of them are accountable to you?
It's because of
you recall a member of the House from your state?
Oh, sure.
You cannot.
Oh, sure.
It means you are not following the
process. Oh, sure. You know the reason why I say sure?
How many of them have been recalled?
There's no unity in purpose, you know, because the truth is that our system, the system we have in Nigeria these days is that we don't know the power of our voice. We don't know the power of our voice. Now, let me clear you very, very clearly. You see, when we talk about unemployment, my brother, we have classes of unemployment. You know, most people just brandish themselves as if they are unemployed. Now, for you to be employable, you must be between the age of 15 and 64, according to the International Labour Organization.
Which is
very good. And for you to go into the labor force, you must be employable. Because we have a lot of people, they never developed themselves, they never went to school, they never even learned any handwork. They are crying out that they are unemployed. These are people that are constituting nuisance to the government.
Honestly, I think you have not gotten the statistics right. I am not talking about people who have not gone to school. I am talking of the number of graduates that are chunked out every year from the universities.
Yes.
That pass through the NYSC. How many of them are employed? Where is the job? Banks are sacking people today. Companies are closing down today. Where are the jobs? There are no jobs.
Francis Chileka,
yes.
You are quite aware that even sometimes these graduates cannot even answer simple questions during interviews.
You are the
employers have come.
In a system, in a country where you say somebody who just comes out of school looking for a job must have 10 years, 15 years experience, we are not being fair to the youths of this country.
Well, that is a different ball game.
No, it's not a different ball game. It is also creating employment. Because when you do that, you are actually stopping people from getting employed.
Francis Chileka, you have a fantastic point. But HR personnel have come online to say that some of these graduates are not even employable.
They are not employable.
They don't have character. They don't even know what they are doing. Sometimes you throw simple questions at them, they can't respond. How do you employ such people in your organization?
Maybe we need to refocus in NYSC now. Maybe this is the time to refocus a lot of things in this country. We need to refocus our universities. We need to look back into our school system. Public schools, we need to bring them back to life. I went to a public school. And today you cannot talk of any public school in this country. So we need to bring back these systems that help the economy to grow. As long as the educational system is bastardized, you keep having crime in the country.
Whatever system you put in place in this country, like you cannot tell me places like United Kingdom, an advanced country, where we also have crime rates that people there they don't have people that are unemployed. Are you with me? You see, I've earlier told you that unemployment, criminality is a choice. Are you with me? There is no condition whatsoever that will make someone to go and take his fellow human life. Now, the first murder in the history of this world was Cain taking his brother's life, Abel. On what ground did he took his brother's life? It took the intervention of the Global Inspector General of Police, that is God Almighty, to come down and intervene in that crisis and awarded punishment to Cain. Until today, the crime of Cain is still roving around humanity. What am I trying to tell you? What I'm trying to tell you is that the reason why crime is still flourishing in Nigeria is because we don't have an effective administration of criminal justice in place. We don't have an effective punishment system in place. Because the truth is that in the early days, when we maybe commit one or two offenses, we know the kind of punishment we get from our parents. Are you with me? So for crime to be mitigated in this country, it's not about giving people job. When you give people job, some people will still go and steal. Let me tell you something. Lie is also a criminal act. Are you with me? So for somebody who is jobless and you tell him to go into the labor force and he's still committing crime, that tells you the problem we are having in this country is character and attitude.
Get him off the street, first of all, and giving him a job. We must, as a people, create a system that helps people to understand morality. Morality, as far as I'm concerned, has been thrown to the dogs. From the homes, from the churches. When I was growing up, a lot of things I imbibed as virtues were from the church. Today, what are the churches preaching? How many of these churches are providing employment? Yet a lot of them are building a lot of skyscrapers all over the place.
Well,
how many of them are creating
my
employment?
church, we are providing a lot of employment for the youth. Yeah.
How many of them are creating employment?
So let's not generalize that.
It is one thing for all of us to say, oh, if you employ people, they'll go to steal. Create the employment first. And that's why I said it is time to refocus the NYSC. If we're saying that the graduates that are coming out are not ready for employment, we must have another system that helps to put them in line. But unfortunately, you have a country where I'm looking for a job. I'm just 2 years out of the university. And then all the applications, all the vacancies are fine. 7 years, 10 years. 10, I mean, 15. What do you want me to do? We are creating a system. It is the internal system that we're building in Nigeria that is breeding.
So will you fail yourself because the government failed you?
If the government fails, yes. If
you fail yourself, then you'll be a dead man.
Well, it is the duty yourself. Then you don't know the duty of the government.
Don't forget that the government has a argument we are having here is that
the government is supposed to have a social contract.
Between me and you, I understand. But in a situation where that contract is defaulted, let me tell you the essence of social contracts. You know, for a government to have a social contract between themselves and the organization and the citizen, the government needs to provide some basic amenities. Water, good road, job, and every other amenities that will make the citizen respond to the government. That is social contract. But the argument here is this. If the government fails to provide that contract, social contract, or abide with that social contract, are you telling me you're going to put your life
the same government that has failed to provide it collects taxes from people. The same government that has failed has people all over the place hunting people down.
It is about is you and I.
No, this is the government I'm talking about is no longer you and I. We are talking about a structure. We don't have a structure in this country. That is why things are falling apart. Okay. We have no structure in Nigeria. Everybody is doing what they want to do. It is only in Nigeria that somebody will embezzle money and walk away. It's only in Nigeria.
And the person that embezzled that money was one time unemployed. And when he became employed, he embezzled the money and moved away. That tells you that what we are talking about is character and attitude, because we need a societal attitudinal change. That is the problem we have in this country. You can't set up a business and trust your business with somebody. They will start stealing from your business. Somebody who is jobless, sleeping at home.
If you have that mindset, you will not create employment. You must create employment. You made mention of God coming from above to take care of the issue of Cain and Abel.
Oh, sure.
Because first of all, you know God created an enabling environment for the two people to thrive. He created an equal level playing ground for everybody.
But Cain still went ahead and killed Abel. That's not the enabling environment. Cain still went ahead and killed Abel. Why did he kill Abel? He was in an environment that God has already put in a very good stance. So why did he still went and killed Abel? Tell me.
He killed Abel.
Tell me.
It's a decision he made.
That is what I'm telling you here. That crime is a choice.
I am coming to your own.
Crime is a choice.
I'm coming. Now, when you have a system,
my brother, it's not about system, it's all about character. Please,
when you have a system that is not uniform, some people feel cheated. Yeah. If you have 2 children today and you're not treating them equal, one of them must revolt. The thing you find out in Nigeria as crime is people revolting for failure in the system.
All right, let me land on that very quickly.
Please go ahead and land.
He said something. He said, when the system is faulty, there's a tendency for things to go wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Now, let's look at it from a very perfect example now.
Okay.
Someone who go to the university, you attended university, you went through all the hurdles through school.
Oh, yeah.
Very intelligent. A lot of them, first-class degree holders are now keke nape drivers.
Okay.
Some of them took Okada on the street to start driving. I mean, that is not supposed to be the focus of a man who went all out to study. But he comes out, and there is no means to justify all the pain and the suffering that he went through. I mean, how do you think such a person will be able to be patient with such a structure not to do otherwise?
Oh, sure, he has to be patient, you know, because when he was going to school, he did not have any contract between him and the government that when he's out of school, he's going to get a job. There was no guarantee. There was no memorandum of understanding. So he must understand that crime is a choice. I kept saying that crime is a choice. Now you come out from school. I've been privileged to interview some graduates. When you see the way they put out their CV, you'll be very amazed. That does not mean that those excellent ones out there are still jobless. Now, one of the problems we're having with our Nigerian graduates, most of our Nigerian graduates, that was the reason why Buhari went to somewhere in the world and said Nigerian youth are lazy. Nigerian youth are not lazy. Maybe he was trying to say that Nigerian youth are not patient. Because some guys, when they leave the university, because you have a PhD, you want to go and get a job of a manager in an organization. Is it your father's company? Some guys, because they have a master degree, they want to go and get an operation manager and organization. Is it your mother's company?
You don't want to start
They don't want to start from beginning. They don't want to start from foundation. And that is the problem we're having with our youth, because the truth is that if you want to hit at the target, you must get in there before you hit at the target.
Okay, fantastic. A man who has a master's degree understands that if he decides to keep that master's degree and present the first degree, he will not get as much money desired to run his family and the expenses that is out there. He feels if my master's degree can come into play, maybe my payments and my status will be a bit handsome to make that happen. Why do you think he should shortchange himself when he indeed went to study these things to present it to get opportunities?
Every organization has their own policies and procedures, and you cannot come to an organization and tell them what you want. The company tells you what they want. Okay. It is in your own company that you have the powers and authority to dictate what you want. You cannot dictate in any organization. Your own is to pray that whatever is suitable to you is what comes your way. But I want to tell our graduate and our master degree holders and our PhD holders that they must learn to follow process. They must learn to go into the game. Now, let me give you a story. I was privileged to join the Nigerian Army 22 years ago. When I resigned from the Nigerian Army, I was about going for US Marine, and things did not work out well. I found myself back in Nigeria, and I was in Lagos. I was going through pain. I was going through hell. Seriously unemployed, classified. You understand? So sometimes I go to the street, Mama Put and others, I will go and beg the mama, please, I am hungry. I have not eaten. Can you help me? They will give me food. I will eat. Are you telling me that I cannot pick up arms and raise up an insurrection against Nigeria? I have the capability to bring down Lagos. I have the capability to bring down this country on a violence ground. But I believe in my destiny. I believe that if the country fails me, if the state fails me, I will not fail myself. And that is why I'm here today speaking on the big issue, because I have passed through that development process, and today I am a man of myself.
Thank you very much. If the country fails me, I will not fail myself.
I will never fail myself.
Francis Chilike says, poverty breeds crime. Solve it. You will reduce crime to the barest minimum. On the other hand, Dixon says, be not deceived. Crime also thrives in developed economies, so it has no fundamental ties to crime. Now, let's go on this break, and when we return, we hear what the audience have got to say. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still the big issue. As a matter of fact, the conversation hasn't ended. Right now, we have to switch gears to our online audience. Let's weigh in on what they have to say. Questions, contributions were welcomed at this time. So let's see how this diverse conversation will span out. All right, quickly, we have MM. Are you there? Okay, yes, quickly, you have a contribution. Can you make it very quickly now? Make it fast as possible. Quickly. We're listening.
Okay. So if we continue to blame poverty and unemployment on the high rate of crime, does that mean the rich don't commit crime?
Thank you.
All right. The question is for you. I think that particularly says, yes, if you keep blaming unemployment on crime, are we saying the rich also do not steal? Are the rich also not also criminals?
Well, the rich that are stealing, they're employed. They're not employed. I'm focusing on those who are not employed.
Yes.
And how it affects them and the society.
Yes, but she's now saying even those who are rich still commit crime.
It is greed and selfishness. If you have enough and you still steal from other people, you are greedy. I have no reason to say that person should not be punished. The person actually who has money has no reason to steal. If you have money and you begin to steal,
Osagi, do you have a different opinion?
Yes. Yes. It's the truth.
It's just that we don't have an effective database here in Nigeria, you know, because I would advise the Nigerian police to come up. In fact, the police should migrate from paper and biro policing system to a technological-based policing system, whereby we can be able to, you know, actualize and activate criminal elements in our database. Then we'll be able to know the number of crime that takes place in each year. So we don't have that database. So I want our government to ensure that we have a good database in our policing system. Because the spate of criminality in Nigeria is on the high rise. And the reason why the criminality, the spate of criminality is on the high rise is because of the vulnerability of our security agents. Are you with me? For a criminal to carry out any criminal activities or for someone to carry out any criminal activities, three things are involved: opportunity, desirability, and availability. You cannot steal what is not available. You can't steal what you don't desire. And you cannot steal if the opportunity is not there. So we need our security agency to cut off the opportunity, then criminality will be mitigated.
Let me also help. Sorry, let me also
No,
help.
don't help me.
No, let me help you.
Help yourself.
I remember a few months back, the government actually said that the rise in the activities of Boko Haram is as a result of unemployment.
Can you give us the source, please?
Yeah, government.
Government told you that?
Yes, it was announced.
Nigerian government?
Yes.
All right.
That the rise in the activity of Boko Haram is because the youths in the north are not employed.
Why are Boko Haram? What is the ideology behind Boko Haram? If it's unemployment, it's not unemployment, sir.
What is it?
It's not unemployment.
If the youth
They want to kill their victim, go to where they are going with 21 virgin or what they promise, and I wonder if they are going to go there with first aid box because it's injurious. For me, what I want to tell you is this: the rise of Boko Haram is not because of unemployment. One of the reasons why Boko Haram is excelling is the porosity of our national borders. From the east, west, south, and north, our borders are highly porous. A borderless nation is a no nation.
You see, we're saying the same thing. If the youths in the north were employed, gainfully employed, nobody that is gainfully employed will leave that and be lured into crime.
All right.
The founder of Boko Haram, do you know his background?
Can we connect back to the audience, please? All right, who do we have next right now? Because this is really getting interesting. Who do we have next, quickly?
Okay, my point on this would be my take on this would be like the popular saying goes, between survival and education, survival will always come first. The Nigerian youth of nowadays are trying to survive. The system is not fair. It is extremely unfair for them. Like what a speaker said, it is the truth. You see the adverts on banks that say that, oh, we need a graduate of 25 years with 3 years experience. And I wonder that, where would you see this kind of people from? The system has become so bad that everything now, there's no palliatives or system in place for the youth. There's nothing that engages the youth. Even the Minister of Youth is above 40 years. There are no stadiums, no way to build your talent. The best graduate students in every university, ask where are they? They are nowhere to be found. And it has become the thing whereby the youth look at themselves and feel like this is a jungle and anything goes. They have to look for a way to better their lives.
Domestic violence is taking its toll in Nigeria today. If you go and do a study of what is happening, you'll find out that it's because a lot of men, employable age, married, are no longer employed. And because they're not employed, the role changes. The wives have become breadwinners. And knowing men for who they are and their ego, there's a problem. So these are one of the major reasons why crime is on the rise. Because a man who is married, has 4 children, the children have to go to school. The children have to feed. The children have to be taken care of. Children don't want to know whether you are working or not. All they want is, Mommy, I'm hungry. The food is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Sagi, I won't take you up on that because I know where this is going. Let's get to connect one of our guests on the online so we can have more conversation to spill. Hello, who is next online?
Right now, as to what Mr. Francis said, it's not the fault of the youth, because if there is proper plan, proper law, and proper structure, I think Nigeria will be far better than now.
Okay.
Because we don't take on proactive measures. So, sir, what's your take on this, sir?
Okay. Osaji.
Okay, well, like you rightly said, you see, when we talk about crime, there's what we call crime precipitators, crime facilitators, and conflict entrepreneurs, you know. We have a lot of people out there that, because of the system in which we are practicing our democracy, we have a lot of conflict entrepreneurs that, you know, instigate our youth to go and commit crime. Now, in responding to what the young man has rightly said, every government that don't want to, for example, suffer the spate of criminality in Nigeria are supposed to put 3 institutions in place. Because the problem we're having is institutional management. You know, first of all, the government should address sufficient and insufficient parenting, because most of our youth suffers from insufficient parenting, and that precipitates crime. And most of our youth that also enjoy sufficient parenting also commit crime. So the issue here is all about choice, as I rightly say, it's all about choice. I will not come here to say unemployment does not result to crime. It facilitates crime. It precipitates crime. But that is not a reason for you to commit crime. Because I have been unemployed, I have suffered in this Lagos, I have slept in kiosks, and when I got my first job, I didn't pride up myself because I was an ex-military guy. I went and started my first job as a security guard here in Lagos. From security guard, I started studying. I became a supervisor. From supervisor, I became an operation manager in that company. From operation manager, I became an investigation manager. From investigation manager, I gathered up some money. I went to do some courses in London. I came back, I became the CS of that entire company. At the end of the day, the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria gave me a private security license, and today I'm a managing director of a security company. If I had gotten into crime, I would not be where I am today because I did not allow the decision of the government or the weak point of the government to facilitate who I am. So if the government fails me, I refuse to fail myself, and that's why I'm here today on the big issue.
Mr. Sage, big issue or small issue, you're coming from a point of advantage. As an ex-military man, we know what military men enjoy in this country. We know the favors they enjoy.
What favor?
We know.
What
you
favor?
and I know.
What favor?
You and I know
that you sleep in the bush is a favor.
You and I know
that you are dodging bullets every day is a favor.
When you leave the military, at what position were you when you left the military?
Is that your business?
You know, I need to know so that I will not tell you. You see, there is no way you would be an ex-military man without getting favor in this country. Because
what favor? I just told you my story. What favor?
No. Your story is not correct somewhere.
Oh, you can go and research that.
It's not correct somewhere.
Go and research
but the truth of the matter is this. The truth of the matter is this. There's a psychological effect to unemployment. We need to address that issue.
Okay. A psychological effect.
Yes.
Let's get back to our online audience. All right, who do we have next right now? Fantastic.
My question is, if on a crime, if crime is being blamed on unemployment, how do we justify those who already have jobs and people who even have high-profile jobs, like government officials, who still do crime? You know, the EFCC was set up to fight against crime, yet top government functionaries who are highly placed, highly employed, with big salaries and allowances still perpetuate crime. How do we justify that?
Thank you very much, John. Fantastic. Now that question can only be for one individual, and his name is Francis Chilika. Francis?
Well, let me start by saying that in any society where there are no moral values, where people have no love for their country, no love for themselves, no love for the system, the rich will become thieves. And that is what is playing out in Nigeria. They have, but as far as they're concerned, they are stealing for their 10th generation. So it's not an issue of unemployment that is making them to steal, but I would rather use one word. They are kleptomaniacs.
Okay.
Kleptomaniacs.
Kleptomaniacs.
So as far as I'm concerned, like I said, I am not interested in people like that, because people like that have not seen suffering. They do not know what the person down the ladder is going through. They do not know the psychological effect.
Who are you saying have not seen suffering? Our allies.
They have not seen.
Should I mention like 2-3 positions that have suffered before?
Calm down. They don't know the psychological effect of unemployment. I am more interested in the fact that people that are not employed, that are going into crime, I am thinking of how do we stop them from doing that? And the only way we can stop them is by government creating a conducive environment for people to be gainfully employed.
Okay.
Anybody that is gainfully employed that decides to go into stealing, the person has no excuse for doing that.
But you are saying some of these elites have not had an impact of what poverty feels like. But Osaje disagrees.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Should I start mentioning names? I don't want to mention names. I don't want to mention names. But are you going to tell me that a person like Adam Oshoma is from a rich background? Are you going to tell me that person like Ozi Ujokalu that just escaped prison service through the Supreme Court verdict is from a rich background? Are you going to tell me that a person like Dino Melai that flashes a lot of cars in his house is from a rich background? Everything is all about attitude and character. And that's why I say that we need a societal attitudinal change. You know, sometimes most of our politicians must be very careful in the way they brandish their vehicles, you know. That is one of the reasons people also go to crime, because when you look at somebody in power that is brandishing G-Wagon, X-Wagon, W-Wagon, different kind of wagons, hey, you will be precipitated to go and commit a crime. You understand? So for me, I still remain that whatever the case may be, Nigerian youth, listen to me very carefully. If you want to live long, don't go into crime because of unemployment. Be patient. The job will come your way.
A society.
Patient, the job will come.
A society that gives out chieftaincy titles because of how much you have. A society that is not bothered about the hunger of the younger generation. A society that tells you the youths are the future of tomorrow, yet the same youths are not allowed within the corridors of power. That society will continue to have crime.
Well, if you're talking about chieftaincy titles, we understand that persons of character are supposed to be occupying positions that give out such titles. But whereby the people put people there who are not capable, how do you think the society will be?
How many people in this country, let us just be sincere for once, the three of us, how many people occupying office in government are truly elected by the people?
Well, that's a subject for another day. We actually, what we need to still...
Because when you look at that, when you look at the flaw in your electoral process, you will understand where unemployment is coming from and where crime takes over from there.
All right. I think we have that punchline there. We have, do we establish another connection? Do we have someone else still standing by quickly?
My question goes to Mr. Otabor.
Oh, it's a question.
He made a statement earlier saying there's no excuse for crime. And I remember growing up then watching crime fighters and all. There are sometimes that, they're not, criminals are not meant to be, pitted, but there are sometimes that they tell you some stories and you be kind of feeling for them. But I just want to ask him a direct question. Have you ever, or what if you're in a situation whereby you have kids to feed and your wife is hungry and the entire family is hungry and you don't have a dime and you guys are probably not eating for like 3 days and you have an opportunity to commit a crime that will not take a life, will you commit that crime?
God forbid, Allah,
That's my question.
A crime is presented to you that does not take a life.
Okay.
But do that crime, get that money, go feed your family.
Very good. My father have 11 children. While we were growing up, we eat once a day, sometimes twice a week. My father has never committed crime. He served this country meritoriously for 37 good years. And today is humbly retired. Why? Because he knows the value and the morals behind his upbringing. So for me, if my father, who has 11 children, has never gone into crime, I don't think I have any excuse to commit crime, even if I have 1 child or 3 or 5 or 7. But the truth remains, if I have the opportunity to commit crime, I'd rather beg. Some time ago, we have a story going around about a man who caught somebody in his kitchen trying to steal. And the guy told him, I didn't touch your wallet, I saw the money there. Why? He said, because why didn't you take the money? He said, no, I'm not a thief, my child is hungry, I just need this food. Are you with me? And this man was so amazed that this guy saw my money, he never stole this money, and he opted for the food. That is the story here we're talking about.
Food.
That guy, no, it wasn't stolen. No, stealing, what's stealing?
Put it to you.
I had went to a shop before to go and eat. After I finished eating, I told Mama, I am sorry, I'm hungry, I don't have money. She said, oh, God bless you, sorry.
Mr. Osage.
I was not punished.
Osage,
but
please.
for me to go and take someone something without someone's consent, that is where stealing comes to play.
Okay, Mr. Osage, you talked about your dad being, that story about 50 years back or thereabout. What was Nigeria then and what is Nigeria today? What was the exchange rate then and what is the exchange rate today? What is the way of survival then?
But you cannot blame you cannot blame that on Osage's father.
I'm not blaming you. No. I'm asking him questions.
He was fortunate to
yes.
So
the thing is, at the time you're talking about, somebody could buy a new Beetle for 3,000.
But my father never bought it.
Somebody can buy a Peugeot, brand new, for 3,500.
You don't have it.
But the thing is this: as the country grows, we're expanding. We're adding more people to us. Today we're 200 million. Out of that 200 million, 60% of 200 million are unemployed. Pros.
Where do you have that statistics, sir?
I
disagree with you, sir, because
no problem. Disagree, but the
forecasted statistics for 2021 is 30%, not 60%. If you say 60%, are you telling me that from age 1 to 90, that means you are classifying age 1 to age 90? How many people do we have in this country?
We have 200 million people.
Then 60% are jobless.
Let me even take you by your word. If you have 200 million and 30% are unemployed, The other 60%, you remove 20% for the aged.
Yes.
How many percent is left that is employed?
I should respond?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. The percentage we're talking about here is systematic. Before you classify people that are unemployed, I told you earlier on, for you to be in the labor force, you must be actively seeking for a job. We have a lot of guys at home counting ceiling. I've counted ceiling before. I know, sir, have you counted ceiling before? I think not. So we have a lot of guys at home that are counting ceiling. A lot of guys at home that has never even stepped one step from their doorstep. You are not unemployed. For you to be unemployed, you must be actively seeking for a job between the ages of 15 to 64. So that is unemployment. Now, coming back to what you're talking about, my father. In the early days, the first armed robber that was publicly executed was A.K.A. Shola, who they usually call rob and kill. He was executed in a playground, and over 33,000 Nigerians came to watch that execution. Why? Because Nigeria was not built on a ground of criminality. Nigeria was not built on a ground of crime. But as time goes on, because of the vulnerability of our security agency, trying to cut off that opportunity, because you cannot steal without opportunity. Before you steal, there must be opportunity.
No,
I will have our agents
I want to disagree with you.
That opportunity.
No, I want to disagree with you each time you say.
That is why crime is striving.
Each time you say security agency, it is the government. We must put the blame where it should be. It is the government.
If you want to blame the government, you will blame the government in eternity.
It is failure in governance that has resulted into unemployment and has given room for crime to rise in Nigeria. It is total collapse of the system.
It is total collapse of the system. This is, of course, a conversation that can never end, even if I give them more time. We would love to keep this going, but we need to go on this break. And when we come back, we have their final takes. If you're just joining us, too bad you've missed out on so many. But all the same, you might not be so unfortunate to witness the exit of the show. We will be right back. This is still the big issue. Welcome back if you're just joining us. This is still the big issue. Now, should we blame poverty on the high rate of crime? Francis Chilika and Dixon Osagie have been holding it down on this show, and right now it is time to have their final takes on the issue. I think I will begin with Francis Chilika because you started it off, and it'll be so it will just be nice you round off from your end.
No, for me, I would just say that we need to build a society that respects people for who they are and not for what they threw out. We need to build a society that closes its eye to blind materialism. It is when we do this, when we begin to look out for each other, look out for one another, that we can have a government for the people, by the people, and of the people. Democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Francis Chilika.
Well,
right,
on my final take, I would want to appreciate our youth. Nigerian youth is one of the best youth in the whole universe. We are very, very strong. We are energetic. And I also want to encourage you guys that never and never you go into crime because of the condition you are today. If you do that, you'll be doing a great disservice to yourself. Because if the government fails you, the society fails you, the greatest disaster in a man's life is when you fail yourself. I have refused to fail myself, and I will never fail myself. So please, go out there, pick up any job that suits you, and progress from that way forward. You will become a very great person in this society. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, in our usual fashion, we should have hugged, but for the fact that the pandemic is here, so I think it would be nice we give the elbow Bluetoothing, all right? All right, you can throw yours from that end, Good. Fantastic. You heard them. It's been an exciting outing with Dixon Osagie and Francis Chilika. And if you had fun watching this debate, follow the conversation on our social media handles at TVC Connect and at TVC News Nigeria. My personal handle is at Mark Otabor on Twitter, Instagram. Engage me with the hashtag #TheBigIssue. Remember, I've always said it, if the issue is not big enough, it has no business here until we come your way, same time, of course. As always, would always give you the very best. This would always remain the big issue.